Welcome to episode 125 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name's Trent. This is Jason. You always want those 50, 100, 125. You want those to be something special.
Yeah.
And I think Custom Black fits the bill of something special because this is a band we've kind of fell in love with over the last few months.
Yes, we have. And you're right. I love zeros. I love fives. I love even shit. So this is awesome.
You love the 100, 001.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm weird like that. Yeah. So this is this is a good one. These guys are great. Their music's great. Yeah, this is going to be a great episode.
Yeah, we've got a good lengthy interview here with all three members of Custom Black. We're going to talk about their show that they played here in Tulsa with Oklahombres and Machine in the Mountain.
Yes.
But before we get to that, we're going to play a brand new song from a band out of St. Louis. This band's called Hallow Point, and this song is called Acedia. Acedia from Hallow Point out of St. Louis. I hope I'm saying that right, Acedia. That's my guess.
Hey, if not, we'll correct it later. That's the first thing I thought, when you see it. So,
Well, they've got an album coming out this Friday called Beyond Our Name.
Okay.
And if this song's an indication of this album, this thing's gonna be killer.
Yeah, this is a barn burner. I like this shit.
Yeah, it's got a lot of things I love, like those heavy vocals mixed with the groove guitars and the technical guitars, and then like when the chorus kicks in, his vocals are extremely heavy with that, low end of the bass and drums. They like pop with his voice.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the blast beat going there a little bit. It's just, yeah. I mean, it pounds you over the head.
Yeah.
And that's what we like our music to do.
Definitely. We'll look them up on Facebook. They're Hallow Point. That's with an A. Hallow Point. Check these guys out. Hope to see them come our way. So if you're listening to Hallow Point, get your ass to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Oklahoma, I finally saw Oklahombres. I'm just jumping the gun on everything.
That's okay. No, we need to get this because you were overdue for this shit, Trent.
Yeah. I mentioned it before. They were one of the area bands that always eluded me for some reason. I always had a conflict anytime they played. But finally, they were playing a show I was able to make it to, and it coincided with two other great bands.
Definitely.
Machine in the Mountain and Custom Black.
Yeah.
We've spoke many times about Machine in the Mountain. We just played them here on the past episode, 124. And Custom Black, of course, we're going to get to here in a bit.
Yes.
But anyway, we went out to this show. It's been a couple weeks ago now, here at Billy and Renee's. This was a day, if you're in the Oklahoma area or anywhere in the Midwest, you know that the past 2 or 3 weeks have been rather rainy.
A little wet.
And that was one of the pinnacle of the whole rain. Because it was like, it was bad that day.
Torrential.
And the thing to point out is it was torrential downpour, and Custom Black was driving from Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they still, I thought earlier in the day, I don't know if we were talking and thought, I wonder if they're going to have to back out of this just because that's pain in the ass, taking a 4-hour trip is going to turn into a 7-hour trip with that kind of weather.
I mean, that's how bad it was. I mean, it was just nonstop.
Yeah. But they got on the road and did it.
That's
and they
right.
even told us, I think when we picked them up that, they were hydroplaning half the way here, pulling that U-Haul, but they did it and we appreciate it.
That's right. We definitely are grateful. Rock and roll warriors.
Yeah.
Those guys are.
And the other thing to point out is I thought, well, since it was such a rainy night, even though it was a Saturday, you might not see a great turnout, but Billy and Renee still had a good crowd in there.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. And I was really thinking, oh man, but people came out, that was awesome. I think it was just kind of a thing of everybody was cooped up inside all day because during the day was when it was the worst.
Yeah.
And, it kind of tapered off at night. So I think maybe everyone was just ready to get out, and that worked because there's a great turnout. It was a fun show, fun night.
Yeah, when Machine in the Mountain kicked it off. And like I mentioned, if you've listened to us at any point, you've heard us sing these guys' praises.
Yes, we're fanboys.
Yeah, you can't say enough good things about these guys. They're instrumental band out of Tulsa, and it's instrumental metal, leans progressive at times, but it's just great solid metal that you can just like groove to. And it's one of those things, we had them on here on episode 85, like a full, I think, hour talk with all 4 of them. And, we really get into the fact that this is one of those, when you think of instrumental music, a lot of times you think of like the guitar guys like Steve Vai or Joe Satriani or Eric Johnson, because that's what jumps in a lot of rock fans' minds when you think instrumental. And all those guys have great songs, but they're not the kind of songs that you can totally get lost in sometimes. Mm-hmm. But with Machine in the Mountain, you totally get lost in it, and you don't even think, I wonder when the vocalist is going to kick in, because you don't even think about that.
Yeah. And it's just, and it's more, those kind of guys, like you were talking about, Vi and Satriani and stuff. Those are just shredder guys, and there's a lot of that in Machine in the Mountain, and that's great. We love it. But there's just so much more. There's just depth, and there's just swirling. It just takes you, it kind of lifts you up, takes you somewhere. And they sounded great at Billy and Renee's. All the bands, I really loved the sound in that venue. It was clear and cut through, but it wasn't too loud. It was really cool.
One thing to point out is when you see them live, it's one of those bands where all 4 guys kind of command your attention.
Yeah.
And you kind of you kind of get lost at times and you realize you hadn't even been paying attention to one guy for several minutes because you're like fixated on one person. And then you can do that with each guy, which is really cool because a lot of bands, there's like one guy or something, maybe two that will do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just get lost in watching John play the guitar and then, you know, Doug's all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, all four of them just really, you can tell they love what they do and they're just built for that stage.
That's right. And you heard it here first, people. Trent likes to stare at dudes and get lost in them.
I think you're taking things out of context.
Oh, okay. I know. I'm sorry.
I gotcha.
I'm sorry. I'm a shithead. Proceed.
Right. Well, coming up, these guys have a show on June 10th in Neosho, Missouri. They're playing the Bands Against Bullying concert.
Yeah.
You're going to hear more about this thing here in the next episode or two when we have Chris Taylor from DMG on. You know, he's the one putting this thing together. It's for a great cause. And besides Machine in the Mountain, this thing also has several bands that we've had on or talked about, like Severmind, Crane Technique, Switchback,
Yeah.
Caliber Theory, Claim Your Enemy. This will be their first show under the name Claim Your Enemy,
Nice.
formerly Devil You Adore.
Okay.
We've also got Waking the Sleeper, Forsaken Few. Remember we saw them in Joplin about a year ago. Under One Nation, Under the Radar, and did I say Caliber Theory?
Yes, you did.
That's going to be a killer lineup, so if you can get out to Neosho, Missouri, June 10th, do it. Like I said, we'll talk more about that here in the next episode or two. And then also, Machine in the Mountain is opening for OTEP
Yeah.
July 1st with Severmind and Alter Blood at the Shrine in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There you go. That's some killer metal right there, friends.
Yeah. Get out there and support it.
Next up, Oklahombres. Steve Ray. I've called him a Tulsa music legend on here. I stand by that forever. I think I've mentioned he's one of those first guys in the Tulsa area that really grabbed my attention as a kid.
Yeah.
When we got into music, you know, we're in to the big names, but then you start going to these shows of the bands you love and you start seeing local bands when you're a young kid. And Steve Ray and Pitbull's on Crack and maybe Dave Cantrell and Stacey Lane from Bunny's Doom. Those were kind of the first bands that truly caught my attention when we saw them opening for other bands. And, you know, here we are years later. Steve's got Oklahombres. He's been on our podcast twice now.
Yeah.
And I finally got to see him live. And I know you've seen him before.
Well, then I'm just going to let you go, you know.
Well, you got to talk about it, too. No, the main thing that jumped out to me is we've played them before, and they've got a great heart. You know, it's like that stoner rock groove, but it's more hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a more hard rock feel to it.
Yeah.
And when you see them live, it's heavier.
Yes.
It's not heavier to the point to where it's like, you know, heavy, but it's just their same thing, but just, I don't know if it's thicker and it just has more of a punch to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, their recorded stuff's great. I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean? And you know, so it was just cool to be able to finally see this and, you know, see what these guys do live. And I loved it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, I mean, I love Steve Ray's voice. He can sing, he can growl. You know, he gave us a pretty awesome shout out from the stage.
That's right.
Very thankful for that. And, man, it was just, that meant a lot. It really did. And, you know, from, you know, what, 23, 24 years ago, him making everybody introduce themselves at Kane's Ballroom because there's only 10 people there.
That's right.
Opening for Life of Agony to like...
No. Lucy's Fur Coat.
Well, Lucy's Fur Coat. That's right. That
was probably about 97, 98.
Yeah, that probably was. Yeah. Okay. But either way, from then to now, you know, it's just, it's really cool, and they put on a great show. So, yeah, there's no way we weren't going to be there.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard Oklahombres, look them up. Follow them on Reverb Nation, Facebook, YouTube. They've got a few songs out. They're all great. If you love groovy hard rock, you're going to love these guys. Well, Custom Black made the trip through the monsoon, so to speak, to get here to Tulsa. We were appreciative. They stopped by. We sat down with them, talked to them for probably about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
At least, recorded a little more than that. And this is a band that kind of, we knew they played the second day of Hallow Fest. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get to see them that day. But Steve Ray, was out there, and when we talked to him several episodes back, he was singing their praises. And I know I'd seen Sprout singing their praises before. So I pulled these guys' album up, Smoke Shall Rise, and it knocked me on my ass.
There you go.
7 songs that truly define # all killer, no filler.
Definitely. And, the album's great, and, live, it was even greater. It's just like no frills, just raw, organic, rock, how it should be. It was so fun to watch these guys live.
Yeah, it's like Black Sabbath meets The Sword. It meets, like, I don't know what, just
meets
something.
Fucking amazingness.
Yeah. Because his voice sounds, I really love his voice because it sounds, what's the right word? Old worldly. It reminds me of the old days,
Okay.
Like of metal, like maybe something you would find underground that you never discovered from like 1986.
Nice.
But
I get that. I can hear that.
But this music and his voice, everything still sounds completely modern and current too at the same time, which is the great part. Like you said, live, this album sounds freaking amazing, and live they pull this all off perfectly. And so it was just an honor to be able to see this, and can't wait to see him again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Get this album, Smoke Shall Rise. It's great.
Well, let's play a song so people know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
If you haven't heard Custom Black, this is called Relativity. Relativity from Custom Black from their Smoke Shall Rise album. You can pick that thing up, iTunes, buy that thing from them at a show. They play in the Kansas City area.
That's what I did.
Yeah. We both got a copy of that
Yes.
thing. Custom Black, look them up, follow them, support these guys. They're badass.
Yeah. I think is it time to get into the interview now?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Hydroplane, yeah.
Hydroplane, yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. That would wake you up.
Nice.
More than just Josh's eyes on the road.
Yeah. Are you guys going back tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Yeah.
We're going to
Cool.
stay with Steve, so Steve
Okay.
opened his place up to us, so we're
Nice.
like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We got rain all day tomorrow too, right?
Maybe.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as today, though.
Yeah.
Man, just in the time from when we drove earlier to getting them, I drove through what was it, probably 2 foot of water.
Oh,
yeah.
Across
Yeah.
Sheridan.
Yeah. Well, I was running errands today, and every time I'd be not in the car, it'd be fine. The minute I turned the key, it was just torrential. That's just how it happens. So,
They said they almost played Downtown Lounge.
really
Yeah.
That was
for
last year.
Tulsa.
Yeah, Freak Tulsa.
nice. Gonna miss that place.
Oh, it's closed down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
is a cool bar. I mean, the one night that we got to go in and check it out.
Are they tearing this stuff down to build something down there? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I think so. The owner that he rented it from is selling that whole the whole block or something. They're tearing it all out.
Because
Wow.
5 or 6 years ago, it was that whole area was crappy.
Yeah.
All that was there was
Yeah.
the Brady Theater. But then once they built the arena down there, everything else started building up around it. So now it went from worthless to prime real estate.
Yeah.
So they've got to make it all nice and pretty now.
Right.
Yeah.
How was Gene Simmons, by the way?
That was pretty cool. That was it's pretty surreal.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was. I was nervous until the minute we walked up into his trailer, and then I don't know, for some reason it all went away. He was pretty nice, so that helped out. He was pretty polite.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really dodge anything or had an attitude, so that was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
We dodged 2 creatures of the night question.
he did. What creatures? Oh yeah, he did.
Twice.
Well, that was yours. So that's your fucking problem, man.
But yeah, he was probably one of the nicer people we've ever met doing this, which is
Oh,
surprising because he has that persona of being an asshole.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's just.
Yeah.
I think that's just for show, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, he was accommodating to everybody that was around. I mean, he put everybody before him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to come up with any catchphrases for anything in front of him because I can market it.
Yeah.
Sign here now that's my property.
Yeah. And he's got another $1 billion now. No
Yeah.
kidding.
Your album "Smoke Shall Rise" has been out now for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of reaction have you got from fans and friends and everybody?
I'd say all positive. Yeah. It's been positive.
Yeah. It was.
Had a few good reviews.
Yeah, it was like the day or two after it dropped. There was a great review out there. A blogger said, once in a while a record comes along that you just need to stop what you're doing and review. And it was like, I think all of our egos lit up a little bit. But that was cool, and it's been a lot of positive from friends and family, and the stoner doom community.
Yeah.
Overseas, it's getting around pretty well. Overseas, we sent a few discs over to Sweden, Ozium.
Ozium Records out of Sweden, so they carry it. It seemed like a lot of the comments and even the sales on the website were from European countries, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you hear a comment like that, you need to just stop and listen. Are you like, goddamn right? Or, are you surprised? I mean, that's got to feel good
Yeah, you kind of holding your breath and going,
Okay.
Let's go ahead and read through it, you know. But then, you know, but then sometimes you're like, are they just being nice, or is this a true review, you know?
You're kind of waiting for the next one to come out, and oh wow, ooh, that guy didn't like it. You know, it hasn't happened yet. I'm sure that there's some people out there that may bash it, but it hasn't happened yet. So.
Hey man, you put your head on the chopping block. That's what I gotta say. You know,
Oh yeah, because that's really what you do when you do something like this. You're putting it out for everyone to critique. So yeah, it's nice to see the positive reviews.
Yeah, we decided early on when we were doing this that we were just going to talk about stuff we liked and avoid just shit talking stuff, because what's the point, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, so it's kind of weird if you listen to our stuff, we think everything's great, but it's because we choose to talk about the stuff we like.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I have no problem talking about how I do not like the Scorpions.
Wow.
So, all right.
You're got a minority there, bro.
Well, I know, and I'm okay with that. It's not my thing.
So how long was the process of recording this? Like, how did you do it over a short span, or did you spread it out over
Really,
life?
We started late summer, late August, I think,
Yeah.
and we didn't finish until mid-October, or maybe November.
I think we finished recording, in
Yeah.
October.
Not that we took all that time; it was just a matter of scheduling and getting it there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And then I think it was mixing and mastering. It seemed like it took quite a while after that, though.
yeah, that's right.
And so and then we kind of sat on it for a little bit. You know, it was like, are we ever going to release this thing? Are we ever going to release it? And then, we moved forward, and here we sit.
Yeah, we released the one single first as a teaser, which is the title track.
Yeah.
Off the album, Smoke Shall Rise.
Right. By the time it got mastered, it was already, I think, January. And the Super Bowl was right around the corner. So I was just like, well, I don't want to release it. You know, people are going to be talking about other things. So we waited for that to pass, and then we put it out there.
Yeah.
So where did you guys record it at?
Westend Recording Studios in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, Justin Mantooth.
Yeah. And he's done a lot of really good stuff.
He's doing a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah.
Is he here produced the album basically for you too, or did you guys do that on your own?
The
production wise.
Oh yeah.
Is that him? Okay.
Yeah. The album itself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we recorded there, and then the mix down process was kind of back and forth via email, giving him notes on what he was playing for us. So that's how that came to be.
Yeah, he'd send us a mix, and then ask for our critique or notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we'd just go back and forth. You know, we could have gone back and forth all day, but I mean, you kind of run out of money after a while.
That snare drum doesn't sound right now.
But at the point, you guys think well is enough.
Yeah. Sometimes you find yourself back at the spot you spent all this time. Oh, yeah, mix 5. No, mix 6. Okay, let's just go ahead and use mix 1. You know, and it's like, oh man, we go all the way back. You know.
The nice thing about doing it that way was that we got to hear it outside of the studio on the systems that we would be listening to it on, and other people would be listening to it on. So it gave you that perspective. I've done recordings before and just only ever heard it in the studio, and then wishing I would have heard it on my home stereo or through my Bose earbuds or whatever. So that was nice. It gave us a lot of different ways to listen to it, and you could hear on one system it needed something else. On this system it sounded great. So
Try to meet
process
that balance.
Yeah.
So how did you guys cultivate your sound? I mean, were you guys into this separately, or did it just come when you guys came together and started jamming?
I pretty much had most of these songs already written when we started, and I was looking for some guys to put the band together. Glenn was just on the first time I approached you, Glenn, you were in a band, so a couple of years of trying to find guys and not finding anyone, Glenn's band folded and we got together, and then Glenn knew Brian, so brought him over for practice, and we just went from there.
Yeah, we'd all played in bands around the same time in Kansas City. There, you'd played and you were solid and Soulless, playing a lot, and then some of the other cover band stuff you did, and then Brian you're playing in Pull.
Yes.
And I was in Sacred and File 13, Sacred Wolf. I was in like 6 different bands.
Yeah, we all come from kind of the same music scene. Like I've known Glenn since the late '90s, early 2000s. So.
Or were the bands you guys in this like stoner doom style stuff, or was it something different, like more metal or?
I think there's always been some of that common denominator with some of our bands.
Yeah. That's the Sabbath influence is always there. You know? It's always there. You know, it's always a root. It's always been a root for me. I mean, only because I was one of the greatest bass players of all time, Geezer Butler.
Definitely.
To me, in my opinion, but so I'd always move around. Every band I played in, I always moved around. I didn't like being the stiff guy just playing whole notes. Yeah. So it kind of always progressed as far as bands I played in would have a touch of COC sound to them as well, and stuff like that. So
I think we all draw influences from that.
But we got to cultivate it together into this band. So it's like we all work together there.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's getting
Flash flood alert.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Yeah.
We know we drove through it.
Well, you said you had most of these songs written. Were they completely hashed out, or did you take their input once they became part of the band? Or
they were pretty much hashed out, but when we got together, everyone kind of put their own spin on it, their own touch. They morphed into what they are.
They've matured for sure. If you go back and listen to like what you made me pay $1 for.
Was that Reverb Nation?
Hey, I didn't tell you had to buy the songs from the website.
It's like, I'm going to come over and try out, and I sent me a Reverb Nation link or whatever it was, and I listened to it, and the third time you click to listen to it, it forces you to pay $1.
Sorry, please pay.
Damn.
So,
time to open your wallet.
That's right.
I hope you gave him the $1 back, man.
Oh, he's giving me that back. But yeah, back to the question, I think the songs have definitely matured. If you listen to with the drum machine and I think Josh playing everything, singing everything to what our sound is now, it's definitely
it has more life to it. More energy to it now. And we've been playing so much since we started. We haven't had like a break where we're going to say let's work on new music. So here and there we've jammed, and I think we've come up with some cool stuff just messing around. And I think that's what I'd like to do next is just jam and come up with stuff together,
Right, more organic process.
Yeah, a little more organic.
Maybe throw in a couple of songs that didn't make it on the album or re-record.
There's some leftovers from the first session, But yeah.
Do you play most of the stuff off the album live, or I guess it depends on the length of your set? But
depends on the length of the set. Yeah, we play the song "Forever Sleep." We don't play out as often, but we have a few other songs that we throw in or covers.
A cover, just to sometimes the audience seems to be losing it a little bit. Yeah. All right, we'll play something and
gonna bring it back around.
Yeah, bring it back around. All right, let's get that energy going again. Come on.
Yeah, it's like over here, people.
Yeah. We'll throw in a sword song or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you play Relativity live?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Are you playing it tonight?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Second song.
All right.
Well, then you can leave.
That's right.
Oh wait, I mean last song.
Yeah.
Well, I love how the bass sounds on this album. How it always like when you hear albums where you can hear the bass, completely apart from the guitar, even though they're both going on.
Yeah.
And I know, you mentioned Geezer Butler. He's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Is that something you've always strived for? Or is that something that just worked out with his guitar playing?
I kind of think it just worked out, really, through the mix-down process.
It helps as well that he's also a bass player, so we were able to work on a good tone together and find something that me and him both were like, wow, that's balls right there. That's balls. Let's use that. So that helps as well. Having another bass player that happens to be the guitarist singer, so we were able to work out that and get a good sound.
I also think in the studio I used an amp that had a little more powerful in the high end than the low end, so it lets you hear what Glenn's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So just the way the the guitar and the bass mixed.
Yeah, Mantooth did a fantastic job on that too.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about this the Smokestock Fest that you guys are doing in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, is that an annual thing, or is this the first one?
Well, really, it's a first official Smokestock. Last year we did it, but it was called Doomageddon.
Yeah.
And then before that, they had a thing in Kansas City called
Fuzz and Fire.
Fuzz and Fire. So that's been like 4 or 5 years ago now, right?
Yeah, that was me and Jordan from Merlin, and a friend of ours, Doug Cole, from Death Valley Wolf Riders. We all, when I was in a band called Brimstone Crow, we wanted a stoner doom sort of fest, so we come up with Fuzz and Fire. And we had Wofat there like the first year, which was like blew our minds. I mean, we were just like, oh, the mighty Wofat's here, you know, and I mean several others, and then Youngblood was there from the beginning and stuff. So we got to where me and our bands were just getting so busy we didn't have time to do the festivals and stuff. And we're like, oh man, you know, he's working on a new album, new vinyl, and stuff like that. And then we were putting our stuff together, so it was like, I don't have time for that. But a buddy of mine works at a bar called All Star. He's like wanting something like that. I was like, well, let's put together the new band I have and get some other cats in there and kind of sport this genre. Yeah. And that was Doomageddon, and then it did well. So he was like, hey, let's try to do he wanted to do an annual thing, and he kind of took over from there, and started Smokestock.
So was is it a pretty good stoner doom kind of scene in the Midwest coming up? I mean,
there's a handful of good bands out of Kansas City, that's for sure, in the surrounding area.
Yeah, definitely in the Midwest. I mean, we got Merlin, we got Youngblood, Super Cult, Snow Child.
Yeah, Snow Child was
Wichita.
From Wichita. Those guys are
fantastic.
First time I saw them, I was just like, we have to follow that.
Yeah. So there's some good ones. I don't know. The crowds seem like we can still generate some more interest, but it's getting better than it was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
good.
It's nice though that bands like Crobot. Crobot, you know, they're right there in that stoner genre, and it's nice to see them on like Rocklahoma. And then in Rockfest in Kansas City, they were there for that too, and it's like good representative of our genre instead of what the radio's telling you to listen to.
Exactly.
These are guys that are like us that are got this great sound that we adore. So it's great to see them bust through and pave the way for us. Yeah. So it's getting bigger, it's getting bigger.
What about your singing style? Do you do warm-ups, or how do you maintain that voice?
I might do some warm-ups in the car on my way to the gig, but
Jaeger shots don't count.
I think
there's some of that too.
Yeah, they actually do.
No, I don't do anything in particular. I don't think of it as a style in itself. That's just how I sing. So, no warm-ups really, no tricks or anything. Try not to drink too much before we play, and that's about it.
But when we're done,
hydrate.
Yeah.
Drink lots of water. That's about it.
Watch out for bad food too before a show.
That's
why we
had the salads.
Yeah, that's why we had the salads. That's why we had the salads.
No getting up on stage too stuffed and then feel like you're not throwing in your mouth.
Your stomach's flipping and flopping up there. And you got the heat from the lights, Oh, he's up there working hard. He's sweating, man. No, he's about to shit himself.
Meat's what's going on over here. No more barbecue before a gig.
That's awesome.
No barbecue, no bad barbecue. We won't name any names, but
salads only.
Yep.
I like that. That's great.
We're giving away our tricks now.
Oh man.
Well, speaking of drinking, I had a question I was going to ask you guys.
This is a good question, yeah.
What's the best beer to go with this genre of metal? The riffage and the stoner. Is it PBR or is it something higher?
I would normally say, for me, it's always been cheaper stuff. PBR, hams.
Hams.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I live off of.
English, or Old English, Old Style.
Yeah.
Any of those beers. But,
Get a cold 2-4 Labatt's Blue.
I always like that.
I don't know that I drink that stuff so much anymore, though. So
Yeah, I don't touch Keystone anymore either.
yeah.
I can't touch it.
That's
The
bad
secret's
news.
out, yeah. The secret's out, man. It's fucking sucks, all right? That's a big secret about the Keystone beer. It's not the can, it's the beer fucking sucks.
Yeah, no shit.
They're not a sponsor or anything, right?
No, nor will they ever be.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money they throw at us. You know?
You wouldn't. What's the lowest standard beer you would go as a sponsor?
Jesus.
Steel Reserve.
I'd take that over Bud Light.
Right.
Oh, the
Jesus.
best beer I think I ever had at a rock show was a Stag. And
I've heard of that.
Have you?
I don't think I've ever had it.
I can't remember who the maker is. I want to say it's out of St. Louis. I had it at a bar in Kansas City called the Record Bar, and I think I was there to see the Sword. So yeah, it was excellent. Never had it again though. Well, I can't find it. Not a good thing, really.
Well, that's the second time the Sword's been brought up. So I had a question. What did you guys think of Low Country? Because I've heard all kinds of back and forth about that.
Admittedly, I haven't heard it. I mean, I had
Gotcha.
High Country,
Yeah.
which was a definite departure, but I still thought it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I think the tough thing about being in a band like that is you obviously want to mix it up eventually. So, yeah, I thought High Country was all right. I haven't heard Low Country though.
Gotcha.
So. Wasn't it just High Country but acoustic?
Acoustic, yeah.
Okay.
And see, it's like everybody. I heard nothing but good, and I liked High Country, but then when Low Country came out, everybody thought it sucked. You know, I heard that from a lot of different people. I liked it, but so I was just kind of curious.
I'll have to check it
Random
out.
question.
Yeah, we haven't listened to Low Country yet. We're still stuck in High Country.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Keyword.
Well, speaking of bands like that, what would be the ideal tour if you guys could jump on as a support band?
Ooh.
For all three of you, if you have different answers, I don't know.
I would love to jump on board Orchid, you know.
Orchid for sure. I'm also
Orange
a huge metal
Goblin.
fan.
Okay.
Yeah, the Sword or Red Fang or somebody like that.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, the Well, definitely, yeah. And I mean, we'll go anywhere. Our Bud's Mothership, man. They almost made it, man. I mean, they were
I know.
right there, man.
They were right under local H, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, like, how many votes? Like 300 votes or something like that.
Yeah, it was like
Close.
super close.
Yeah, it was close, man. I was really pulling for those guys. They're bros from way back, you know. I played with them, played a show in Kansas City with a band called Brimstone Crow that I was in, and we played this it was a bowling alley, and we had them all to ourselves. Nobody fucking showed up, so pretty much Mothership played for us, the two bands that opened up for them, and we just stood up there in front in awe, just looking around like, you fucking people aren't seeing this? These guys are fucking badass, you know? I mean, and I'm glad that they're finally getting the recognition they deserve,
definitely.
man. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw them for the first time last year at the
Dime Bash.
Dimebag
That was great.
Memorial Bike Run
In
show
Dallas.
with COC.
Yeah.
They opened up that time, and they were
nice.
badass.
Oh, yeah, it was Super Eve.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, Kelly, the guitarist, man, I love it whenever he starts playing. He just gets possessed. I mean, you can see the looks on his face and stuff. He's just like, he's so into the fucking music, man. It's
Yeah,
inspiration.
yeah, that's what it takes.
Well, where did each of you guys come from musically? Like, what were your first major influences that got you wanting to do this?
I think for me it was bands like Black Sabbath, 70s style rock. Mix that in with like the 80s Bay Area thrash thing that was happening. That's what I liked when I was a kid. So Death Angel, Metallica.
Dio, we'll throw in Dio in there, and
Yeah.
Maiden.
Yeah, definitely made new wave of British heavy metal was a big thing for me growing up. So that, thrash, and older rock, the three of those combined to me is where I draw my inspiration from musically.
And I'm a big, like, first started listening to like Cream and Jimi Hendrix and all of that, psychedelic acid type rock back in the late '60s. So, and then moved on into the Judas Priests and the Iron Maidens and through the metal years, and then through the '80s metal years, right? And,
I don't know. You're speaking for yourself there, Brian.
well, let's just say I had the Bon Jovi hair in the boots at the time, but I think all influences of music from the '60s, '70s, '80s, and '90s, 2000s, and beyond. You're still influenced every day. You listen to something new, and it influences you.
I think music is mostly influenced by the '70s and by whatever Josh writes.
Nice.
Well, who's your favorite drummer? If you could pick one.
Yeah, if you could pick one. Jeez. Ginger Baker.
Would you want to get in a fight with Ginger Baker?
You seen that documentary? That guy's nuts.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Oh, you got to see it. The guy's he's fucking off. He's off the reservation, crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome. You got to see it. What's the Dangerous Mr. Baker, the something Mr. Baker?
Yeah, something like that.
It's great.
Yeah. He hit the interviewer with a
cane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and cracked his nose open. Yeah, this is great.
Wow.
God, it was awesome.
That's rock and roll right there.
Oh yeah.
I'm making a note.
Yes.
Cool, man. We appreciate you guys' time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, I got another question for you. Where do you guys want to take this year? I mean, are you doing regional shows, or what's your plans for the rest of this year?
This year, we want to try to get out and hit the road a little more, play some more out of town shows. Mm-hmm. We've definitely played our fair share at home, so I think that's the goal, is to get out and make ourselves known around the Midwest.
Last year around our home base, we were sometimes doing two shows a week. Last year,
we played a lot, but
2-3 shows.
I think at the time I thought we really needed it, just to get better as a band, get better as a group. I know me personally, I played bass before this band, so it was my first time singing and playing guitar live, and I just wanted to do it as much as possible just to get used to everything. So it helped to just play every chance we could get last year.
We played a lot locally.
Most people would call over playing. I was just like, no, let's just do it. Let's just freaking do it.
Yeah.
It helped.
Get more shows under our belts.
It tightened us up. And
it did.
And we were doing 2 practices a week in our storage area, so it tightened us up really well.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it, because you hear a lot of people talking about only playing a few shows every few months so they don't overdo it. But if you're doing it just for the sake of doing it,
well, ideally that's where I'd like to be, where we don't play at home so often. But like I said, last year we just needed the practice. We needed to get the reps under our belts.
Mm-hmm. It made us much better.
Yeah.
It's a much better live band.
It made me, better as far as
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people who've seen us, our first handful of shows to the shows that we play now, and they say a lot of times and just go, wow, he's really getting comfortable singing and playing guitar, which it sounds like that's what you needed, right?
Exactly.
Well, you've only been since early last year is when you guys technically formed, right? The beginning of last year, or was it late 2015?
Technically, it was middle of 2015.
Okay.
July of 2015.
Yeah.
And we didn't play our first show till around February of 2016.
Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah.
So, do you still feel like you're where you want to be, or do you still feel like you're working to get there?
No, I feel good, and that's where now I just want to get us out in front of more people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really the
the
goal.
songs are tight. The CD's out. We're feeling good.
Yeah.
About about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Now we're ready to take it outside and just spread it out.
Make our circle bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love that. that CD.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that's great stuff.
Cool. Thanks.
It is.
We'd like to go over to Europe. I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be a nice top of the ladder ambitious thing. You know?
Hey, it would be cool to get, to
Get on
that
support
far,
with truck fighters.
Yeah,
Truck
no
fighters,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just follow the well, or they're over there now. So.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we had
Oscar.
Oscar from Truck Fighters on a few months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he was cool. It was a little bit of that, he speaks perfect fine English, but there was a language gap on some of the questions we asked him, him understanding what we were trying to say, but he was still a great dude to talk to.
Did they play here in Oklahoma?
Yeah, they played Downtown Lounge.
Okay, they were in Kansas City a few months back too, so I forgot about
Yeah, they
that.
were.
They were like Golden Corral.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
and I asked him about it. He's like, I know people in America think it's stupid, but, we gotta go to
They don't get it, so they're like, "This is amazing." I'm like, "Oh my god, no, it's not."
But he didn't want
to tell you that.
He didn't want to do the chocolate fountain. He thought that was a little too much.
We could get a salad there.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally could.
A massive salad
Yes.
Exactly.
with steak on it or
Yeah,
something.
with a piece of roast beef on the
Steak right on top.
Yeah. And a chocolate covered strawberry.
Jeff Foxworthy comes out and brings it to you.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that the other
I know.
He knows his audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that commercial, girl. I was like, of course he'd chill fucking Golden Corral. Perfect. Fuck.
How about that blue chocolate fountain? You might be a redneck if you drink straight from it.
That is right. That is exactly right. That's great.
When you're lapping it with your hand. Usually my kids are wanting to do that. Find them over there with their head half in.
Like I said, we appreciate you guys
Yeah,
taking the
thanks.
time to do
Great.
this.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for keeping us dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There you go, Josh, Glenn, and Brian from Custom Black. Thank you very much to them for taking the time out of their day when it was downpouring like an MFer.
Yes. I mean, just, professionals. Like I said earlier, warriors.
Yeah. Like, literally, we weren't joking about that rain. When we drove over to Billy and Renee's, there was
There was a car bottomed out because there's
Yeah.
one point where the water was so...
like at 31st and Sheridan, it had got like a couple feet deep
Yeah.
over there.
I mean...
And they were looking, we were trying to explain ways for them to get into... And I was
their
like telling
trailer
them,
in,
yeah, pull around this side of Quick Trip so you can get in there without going through that big ass ditch of water in the middle of the intersection.
It was, me, if I'm in Kansas City heading towards a gig in Tulsa and I see all that, I'm like, well, screw that. Guess I'm staying home.
That's why you're not in a band right now.
Well, that's right. I'm a wuss. But these guys powered through it, and that's what it takes, And so, really, really glad that we got to see him.
Without a doubt. Well, if this is your first time listening, go back and check out some old episodes. We're on soundcloud.com/Thunder-Underground. Like I mentioned earlier, Steve Ray from Oklahombres,
Yeah.
Machine in the Mountain, both of them have been on here. We've also had on guys from, I mentioned The Sword. We've had on guys from Truck Fighters.
Obsessed, Wino,
Yeah.
Spirit Caravan.
Yeah, so if you're into that vein of music, you'd love all three of those episodes,
Yeah.
I'm sure. We've also had on guys from Death Angel and Overkill, Battlecross, Drowning Pool, Megadeth, Avatar, Soil, Warrant, Seven Dust,
Super Joint.
Kiss.
Kiss. We had on that guy, Gene Simmons, isn't that his name?
That's his name.
Hey, yeah, we had that guy on.
I need some kid who hasn't wiped his first cum stain off his leg to tell me what I need in my life.
For real.
Right. But you just mentioned Super Joint. We had on Steven Taylor here a few months ago. Great dude. Great to hear his backstory. But coming up,
Oh, yeah.
we've got hashtag Bauer Power.
That's right.
Jimmy fucking Bauer. You know this man because he co-founded Down. He co-founded I Hate God. He co-founded Crowbar.
Yes.
He co-founded Superjoint.
He co-founded.
Co-founded. Co-founded. He has also been in COC, so he's basically been in like the 5 biggest bands from New Orleans.
Yes, he has. And, we got him on the show, and we can't wait for you guys to hear it.
We've also got another episode coming with Gumby from Battlecross making his return for the 3rd time.
Definitely. A three-peat.
Hashtag three-peat. And 2 of the members of Child Bite.
Yes.
Which is a great band that if you have not heard, you need to check out because it'll blow your mind.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's a little left of center from all the stuff we usually listen to, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you want it to be sometimes. And these guys they've got all their stuff is just intense and crazy, and we had them on too, and it was awesome. So we've really got some cool episodes coming.
We've also got, like I mentioned earlier, Chris Taylor from DMG Productions.
Yes, definitely.
He's going to talk about that Bands Against Bullying show and also about the Dark Side stage at Rocklahoma 2017, which is coming up in a little over a week and a half. He's got 3 days worth of music out there that runs every day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay.
So it starts at 9 a.m. and runs right up until the main stages kick off inside.
Mm-hmm.
And there's basically music running from 9 a.m. until who knows when in the morning.
That's right.
Because Camp Yeager runs late in the night and Axis as well. We're going to talk about all that. But one thing I forgot to mention earlier, when we were talking about Oklahombres, they have a show this coming weekend.
They do.
May 20th at the Vanguard, along with Skytown and Grind.
Stanley's Revenge.
So be sure.
I'm going to fucking make you remember that if it's the last thing that kills
Because, I forgot it last time too, didn't I? Anyway, get out to the Vanguard. $10 gets you in the door. 4 great bands. And we might even have free tickets for this coming.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Speaking of free tickets, right now, if you're listening to this when it drops, on our Facebook page, you can get on there and enter to win free Mushroom Head tickets for their show at the Diamond Ballroom in Oklahoma City.
Yes, our pals Less Than Human are opening up, and tickets are courtesy of them. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that if you're in the Oklahoma area. There you go. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube at The Thunder Underground. We've got a show on there called Every Album in a Row, where we listen to a band's entire catalog from the first song to the last in its entirety, and then discuss it, how that stuff flows together, all that great stuff.
And I think the next one we're doing is Buckethead, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're 208 albums.
Right?
I'm on album number 72.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm only on 13,
yeah,
so I got a way to go.
I'm getting there. Yeah.
And as soon as we finish that, it's straight into Frank Zappa.
Yes.
So Trevor, be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that will be showing up sometime in 2022.
Right? But in reality, we've had Van Halen, we've had Pantera, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Megadeth, Ozzy Osbourne. Motley Crue's been recorded, coming soon. Kiss will be recorded soon.
Yes.
Many more to come.
It's been so long with Kiss, I'm going to have to listen to them all over again.
I think you should make notes like I do.
Oh, man, I should have. Oh, most of the time I was driving.
Okay.
People have turned this off by now. It's okay.
No, they haven't. People listen from beginning to end.
I hope.
Why? Because they want to hear Sprout say Thunder Underground, y'all.
Well, that's why I listen to the end for.
Okay. Should we get to that right now?
Yes.
All right, until next time.
They break our cherry on this one. This is our first one, right?
Our first what? Oh, podcast?
Yeah, well, interview, podcast interview.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being our first.
Years from now, we'll have that as
Your
a great
first.
accreditation.
Hey, you guys say, hey, we were the first, man.
That's right.
Better fucking call Gene Simmons. Shit.
Thunder Underground, y'all.